Hi there, and welcome to this full session of the Pause Fast Forward program. Hopefully, you're making good progress with what we've covered so far. I thought I'd start today's session with a quick update on the vegetable patch, get that out of the way. I know you're always interested in that. So, got the raspberries and blueberries coming into leaf, soon be flowering. So that's good news. And I've also managed to plant out some cabbages. Last year had quite a lot of caterpillars on them. I'm sure they're a fantastic source of protein, but I'm not quite ready for that. So I decided this year to net them and allow that to the caterpillars to keep on other stuff for this year. So apologies to any sort of butterfly fans. Anyway, so just a quick reminder about what we're looking at on today's on the program and on today's course. Obviously, overall, this is what we're trying to get to, the point where we've taken some rocks potentially and some gravel out of the jar, put the rocks in first still, and add the gravel afterwards, and have some time spare, which is for some creative time, etc., thinking time, which we're going to be speaking about today. So that's for first rock is that sort of daily thinking. Just a couple of minutes every day and really make hopefully that sort of established habit. The second rock is planning in one action, thinking about what the action is in that thinking time, planning in that one action. 365 actions a year is a huge amount of progress towards your goals. And then also, making sure there's another rock in there, which is your daily beacon, something for you that's going to be energizing, preferably a little later in the day, and having a wide variety of them. So those three things, those three rocks to put in first: think, action, and beacon. Making sure those habits are very well established. And also, what we spoke about last time, hopefully you've made some progress on not being disturbed as well, choosing not to be disturbed, because lots of things are designed to disturb you. You've turned off your phone, you've maybe deleted or silenced apps, you're working with your email switched off, move location, etc. Other sort of anti-disruption, distraction strategies. Hopefully you've successfully put those in place now. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing your progress on those. Okay, so we're going to talk today about a couple of things. When both around sort of when your creative best. That's going to be the theme today. And the first one we're going to talk about is kind of thinking about when you're creative best in the work context. So just think about when that is for you. What's that sort of time of day, that location, that environment where you really feel, generally speaking, you are at your best at that time in those places? When is that for you? Is it sort of early on in the week? Is it maybe a particular time of day, etc.? Is it a particular location? It might be even a home location or a different office, etc. When you're at your best, it might be when you're with people or not with certain people, etc. So it can be any of those things. So just think for a second, when is that for you? We all kind of know when we're at best, and it's different for everyone. Some people it's first thing, some people later on. Sometimes it's sort of other times of the day, week, etc. Different locations, etc. So having thought about what that time is for you, will be different. I want you to now think about, well, given that is your best, your most creative time, what sort of work should you or could you ideally be doing at that time? If you had a choice, if you could design things that you were able to do that work at that time, what work would you choose to do? Okay. And it might be sort of needing to think about things. It might be certain projects. It might be innovation. It could be anything really, but probably not the sort of mundane tasks like emails or admin, etc. that kind of you need to do. It'd be the stuff that you really want to be doing when you're at your absolute best. And finally, you may be surprised to hear about this, is that if you are at your creative best at those times and you wish to do that type of work at those times, how can you engineer things so that you are able to, more often than not, do that work at those times? What do you need to kind of have with you? What do you need to tell that you're going to be doing it? Do you need to put a time in your diary where you're actually going to fix it? Is it maybe like an actual rock in your diary, maybe at a different point in the week or different points of the day, where you're actually going to do that work at those times and block it out? You're going to obviously try and reduce distractions, do all your anti-interruption strategy for that most creative time, etc. Put all those things in place. But how can you kind of proactively make sure you protect your most sort of high energy, most creative time going forward? So that's the first challenge for today. Thinking about when you're at your best, what work should you do at that time, and how can you then proactively make sure that you're doing so? Okay, so a bit of an expansion on the last session about being free from distractions, but yes, it's more focused on when you are your absolute best, making sure you do the work that will be most suited to you doing at that time. The second thing I want to talk about today is this concept of daydreaming, which has a bit of sort of negative connotations, because people often think, it's someone saying to you, sorry, can you repeat that? I was daydreaming, etc. It's not really like that. And actually daydreaming is a bit of a misnomer, but actually daydreaming is quite a creative time. And it's actually really important we do it. There's less daydreaming going on than there was years ago because of things like distractions, not being able to focus, etc. And it's actually a really important thing that we do, because we often are at our most creative during that time when we are allowing our mind to wander. So mind wandering would be perhaps a more positive way of putting it. But I want you to think about when you kind of do allow your mind to wander, and when you kind of end up having those sort of creative moments, if you like, sort of light bulb moments, when you actually come up with solutions, ideas that take you towards what you want to be doing, or things come together. So when are those sort of light bulb moments for you? When have they generally occurred? For me personally, I remember taking our couple of dogs on a walk early in lockdown. I was kind of on my own, and it kind of resolved to me the synergy between the stuff I do around personal why and company wise around engagement, and it actually resulted in me resolving to write my book, The Why Force for Leaders. That came together. I actually started doing it very soon after I came back from that dog walk. That was when I took my first action towards it. Sometimes those sort of things. Also, sometimes if I'm out sort of doing things on the vegetable patch, like weeding or planting something, I'll have ideas. I remember having an idea around a football game that I organised on a Thursday. It always generates a bit of excess money. What to do with that money? What I did was thought, and it's a very simple idea. I started to buy lottery tickets for the benefit of the people who paid in with the excess money. Although we haven't won yet, sure we will. It's still a good thing, a source of banter, and we bond people closer together as a result of that. It's been a good idea. Sometimes it might be you're doing sort of exercise on your own, a bit of yoga. It's not me, you'd be surprised to hear. But it's that could be a good time to do it. Maybe when you're driving the car, again, not me. Again, kind of those sort of things, or even lying in bed. Again, this is not me. Sorry to disappoint you. When you kind of you're not being distressed or distracted by other things, that time when you can actually resolve things. Plenty of ideas occur to you if you're able to do so. Whereas sometimes you have to just leap up, get up, get going. You lose some of that time. But it can even be sort of mundane activity like washing the dishes. Again, sadly not me pictured in this picture. But what it tends to be sort of mundane tasks, or if you like, those tasks that don't require a lot of concentration. That's when you can allow your mind to wander, come up with solutions, ideas, etc., that take you towards kind of what you want. So when are those times for you? And then when you're particularly referencing when you've had your sort of last sort of light bulb moments, if you like, when have they been? And the question really is, from today, is are you doing enough of it? And when you are doing it, are you kind of in the right state, in a right state, if you like? So are you doing enough of it in the right state, where you're not being mentally distracted by other things, or indeed physically distracted? So you're allowing your phone to go off, etc., things like that happening. So kind of, do you do enough of it? And if you don't, if you feel that you should allow your mind to wander more often, it is a healthy thing to do. Do a bit more daydreaming into your diary. Maybe think about how can you kind of build that in. Maybe it is a case of building in a few more rocks into your kind of more weekly diary, making sure that you're allowing those times to happen for you. So that's the challenge from today's session. Could you build in a bit more mind wandering, sort of daydreaming time in a positive, non-distracted state, to allow your mind to come up with those creative solutions, ideas that are going to help you going forward? And referencing back to the early part of today's call, also in work, when you're creative best, and how can you make sure you protect that time and do the right kind of work at place? So that's all I want to cover today. Thanks for taking part and listening to this, and I'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.